fam, you ain't ready for this.
It's big money, big cars, big moves. It's muscle tone, brah, there ain't nothing to prove. The best breeds from the States to the Outback. Keep your eyes peeled, guaranteed you gon' learn that. Beanstalk, big boss on lock. If a canine was God, it would be this dog.
Hello everyone, and happy Memorial Day. Welcome to another Muscletonebullys episode. So today what I'd like to discuss is gossip. Gossip in the bully community has been a big problem from the beginning of time, and it's a problem in everything in life. It's mentioned in the Torah, in the Bible, it's mentioned in the Quran, it's mentioned in every book you can think of. It's in books of Shakespeare, and it's learned in school. It's part of philosophy, and on and on and on. So what is gossip, really? Gossip is when you're telling the story of another man that does not concern you. Telling someone a story that is not part of you, your involvement, or part of anything that is uplifting or building. Can gossip be a positive thing? Sometimes you can say good things about someone, but that's not called gossip. That's called just, saying something nice about somebody else. Gossip is generally a bad thing. It always has been, it always will be. It is when you're hating on somebody else, either secretly, publicly, however you do it, but it's just a version of hate. And it's spreading rumors. Sometimes they're exaggerated truth. Very often they're just straight out lies. Just lies about people. And a lot of people repeat what they hear. And they say, well, I didn't say that. I was told this. And it came from this source, or it came from that source, or did you hear this and that? And these are things they're repeating, but they never witnessed it. But they believe it to be true, so they feel like they're not lying because they heard it from someone else, who heard it from someone else, who eventually the original source could have been straight out a lie. Most of the time, 99% of the time, it is a lie. I'll give you guys a few examples. Dave Wilson and I have been victims to this for years. For a period of time, they're like, Bashar owns the ABKC. I wish I owned the ABKC. I wish Dave would sell it to me, I'd buy it. I don't own the ABKC. I have nothing to do with the ABKC. That's Dave's baby. The only thing Dave and I have in common is that we were both dog breeders. And when I started, I bought dogs from Dave. And as Dave started breeding and he started running the ABKC, because that was his baby, I became big into breeding, and Dave wanted some of his blood back, and he wanted the best source to come to for it, because whoever did the best work with some of his stuff was Muscletone. So he came back to me and purchased some dogs from me, or did breedings with me. That's all that is. It's but yet people will start rumors and say, oh, Bashar's the Rockefeller of the ABKC, or the American Bully breed. He has everybody in his pocket. Because I drive these, everybody thinks I have everything in my pocket. No, I don't buy anyone. I don't have time for that. I'd rather spend my money on these things, okay? So again, rumors once more, or Bashar is arrogant, or Bashar is this, or Bashar is that. So because I'm confident, or I speak the truth all the time, and I try to always be as straightforward as I can, and sometimes to some people that comes across as shocking or rude, or however they want to view it, somehow I become a disrespectful or rude person. Again, those are people that don't know me. Anyone who's done business with me, and I would love for anyone who's watching this video who has done business with me, please, by all means, I want everyone to start making videos, giving your experience, good or bad. Just put it out there. Hey, I did business with Bashar in 2009, and this was my experience. I did Bashar, business with Muscletone in 2015, and this was my experience. That it's with me or my partners. It doesn't matter. Put it out there. So let us know how you guys are treated on Muscletone. This is a good way to clear some of the false rumors that get spread around. I've had people, and I'm not going to mention names, but people in the bully industry who have messaged me, and I have the messages still, and try to blackmail me, tell me that if I don't do this, or I don't give them that they were going to expose me on the internet, and that they have enough followers that they're going to ruin my reputation, and that and that. And they had nothing to expose me with but rumors and lies. And they don't understand that I never cared what anyone thinks. And this is the reason. This is the reason why. And the best way for all of you to deal with this kind of situation, because I'm sure I'm not the only one, and Dave's not the only one, and everyone deals with this at a particular point. I see it all the time. And the best way to deal with it is never to let anyone have power over you. Always tell the truth. If you always tell the truth, you have nothing to worry about. Nothing. Because they can't prove what isn't true. They can stipulate or make rumors. They've even photoshopped my dogs. They've even taken pictures of different things, trying to make me look bad, or even paid off some of my employees to sabotage me. On and on. At the end, the truth comes out. And eventually all things fade away. It doesn't stay forever. So you don't let it drain you, you don't let it get down to you. You continue forward, and God sees all things, and He'll make things right. So, that being said, I'd like to tell you guys a story about how damaging it is to repeat a story you've heard that you don't know if it's true or it isn't. If you chose to believe it, just because you chose to believe it and you're repeating it, well, you're just as guilty as the person who started it. So let me give you guys a small story that my father told me when I was young. And I'm going to tell you guys why he told me the story and how it happened. I think I was around 11 years old or 12 years old, and I overheard some of the women in my family talking about somebody in my family, another woman. And I ran to my father and I said, "Hey, Dad, is this true?" You know? And I'm not going to say what was being said because it wasn't appropriate and it wasn't polite, and I don't like to discuss these things. And my father smacked me across the face. Sat me down and said, "We need to have a talk." He said, "Why did you say that to me?" I said, "Dad, I wasn't gossiping because I knew gossiping was wrong. I was asking if it's true." He goes, "Why are you even asking if it's true? Does it concern you? Is it your story to tell?" I said, "I guess not." He goes, "You have nothing to do with her. You have nothing to do with her life. Don't ask me. Don't ask anyone. Don't repeat it. Don't get in the middle of it. And don't get involved. Because just asking me, and if I wasn't the man I am, you just put in my head information and the story itself. Because I may not know anything about it. And now you've just told me the story that you've heard. So now I know information that isn't true. And my thoughts are now questionable about that person. Even though this source can be completely false and completely untrue. You have become part of the gossip. You spread it. So you would never think of it that way because you're thinking in your head, "No, I was just asking a question. I just wanted to know if it was true." But it doesn't concern you. It doesn't concern you at all. So why mention it? He kept saying. Okay. So then he sat down and told me a story about this lady in the old village. So this woman in the village, she had a neighbor. And the neighbor was a very beautiful woman who was young. She was newlywed to the doctor in the village. And, you know, he was a very handsome bachelor. So all the women were a little envious of her. So she started to spread that she saw another man go into her house while her husband is away at the clinic. And the rumor spread so far that her husband divorced her. That everyone shunned her when they saw her and called her names and on and on and on. So the woman, with some sort of guilt, ran to the priest of the church and said to the priest, "Father, forgive me for I have sinned. I have started a rumor about a woman, and now her husband has left her, and I don't know how to make it right. I ran to her husband and I told him that I started the rumor, but the rumor is so deep and so far that he said to me that even if it was true that you started this rumor and she hadn't done anything, her reputation is tainted. I could never look at her the same again." And that really hurt this woman's feelings, that she had caused so much damage. Thank God she had a conscience, of course. So the priest told her, "Well, I'll tell you how to fix it. It's simple. Go back home and get a pillow, a feather pillow. Bring the pillow back, go to the roof of the church where the bell is, cut the pillow, and spread all the feathers out through the wind, and return to see me. Bring the pillowcase with you." So she cuts the pillow, lets all the feathers out, just like the priest told her to do. She comes back down. "Father, I've done exactly what you said to me. I've up to the roof of the church. I've cut the pillow. I let all the feathers go. The wind took them everywhere. I still have the case. Here I am." He goes, "You have a needle and thread?" She says, "Yes, I do at home." He says, "You're going to go and grab that needle and thread. Then you're going to go and gather every single feather the wind blew. Every single one. And you don't miss a single one. You put them back in that pillow. You sew it closed. Put it back in your bed. And you would have solved the problem." "But Father," she says, "that is impossible. The feathers are spread everywhere. I could never possibly retrain them and get them all back." He says, "My dear, this is what you have done. Gossip is a very dangerous thing. And if you are guilty of it, trust me that you are faithful and you believe in God or you believe in karma or whatever you believe in, it will come back at you. Do not be part of it, guys. Do not be part of this nonsense. Please be better than that. If you have nothing good to say about a man, just shut your mouth. Say nothing. What kind of grown man that has his things together has to talk down on another man? You don't know what everyone goes through. We all have our difficulties. You don't know where we come from. You don't know where we've been. You don't know what they've lost, who they're losing, who's sick in their family, who's suffering. Maybe they are bad. We don't know, but it's not our place to judge. So if it is not a problem that we are dealing with them one-on-one, that is not our own issue, don't repeat it. Don't get involved in it. You see someone posting a problem online, stay out of it. It doesn't concern you. Stay out of it. It is not okay. You will never see me. I have a lot of people who I've supported on social media who I've been very upset with when they did these things. They've gossiped about someone else, or they've talked bad at someone else, and I've put them in their place. I know how to forgive, and I know how to get past things, and that's something else a lot of us have to learn to do. I mean, I've forgiven people who have done me wrong in many ways, and I've never thrown them on the bus or put them on social media. And the reason for it is because when you're solid, when you're strong, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. This is not how things are solved. This brings nothing but further problems and a waste of energy and time that you could be positive. So, on that note, I noticed very often that and I've mentioned this in my previous episodes, that if you have a problem with someone, solve it one-on-one, and if you need to involve the court, then you involve the court, but you don't involve social media. You don't involve everyone else to come and be on your side. And I thought that there was a lot more solid people in the bully community than there actually is. And I have noticed that even some of the strong characters I thought were very solid break sometimes and make this mistake. And we can forgive. You know, everyone makes a mistake. I mean, sometimes it's difficult, and we're in a situation where we feel we need to get validations from others because we're so hurting. But the most important thing for a person to master is self-control, man or woman. But if you can't master self-control, you can't master anything at all in life, in general, because that's the first thing you have to master. You can even ask a man like Mike Tyson. Self-control is the most important thing he'll tell you to learn. You ask any professional world champion athlete who has these things together. Those who don't have self-control, and you can watch fighters without self-control eventually take a big fall, and a very hard one. And they take it in their prime, not when they're getting much older and weaker. So, and this is with everything in life, that you are in medicine, that you are in sales, that you are in the breeding business, it doesn't matter. Self-control is your step number one to proceed forward. You can have all the knowledge in the world. Without it, you will not succeed. Control your emotions, man. Control your actions. Control the way you think. Control the way you speak, especially. Control your temper above all. If you guys can do this, you will succeed. I promise you. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. So a lot of you are failing because of these types of behaviors in your past and in your present. If you change it and give it enough time, I promise you it will come back around. It will come back around. The world will forget. They will forgive you, and it will pass on. And if they don't forgive you, they will forget. Time will pass on. So, that being said, this concludes the episode today, which is gossip, which is a topic that I really wanted to hit on. And I'm hoping in the next episode we're going to discuss something more critical, with breeding and all that, because I want to get off these topics of constantly having to remind everyone in the bully community that certain behaviors are just not acceptable, and they're hurting you, they're hurting everyone around you, and they're very damaging. But unfortunately, every time I get on this stupid Facebook and Instagram, and that's all I see these days, and it's getting exhausting to watch, and it hurts me, to be honest, and that's why I'm approaching the topic. And it hurts me because a lot of times I see people I care about involved in it, people that I feel that I try to guide in the bully community, and I'm like, why are you guys doing this? Why are you guys involved in this? You guys are better than this. So guys, please try to understand what I'm teaching here, and if you don't like my message, that's your decision. But at the end of the day, I believe that when I give you all advice, I have proven it through work, and I have proven it through experience and 20-some years of showing and leading by example. I'm not a hypocrite by any way or means, and everyone keeps asking me, how do I get to this level? I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you how to get to this level. These are important aspects. It's not just about breeding. It's not just about making nice puppies. It requires character. You have to have the right character. Everyone could play basketball every single day. Doesn't mean you're going to be Michael Jordan. Everybody could have an idea. Doesn't mean you're going to be the next Bill Gates. You have to have the right character. And then we go on to the next step. There's steps to this. Step number 1, character. See you guys next episode.